What's going on, folks? We're back and we're having a look at another MILC-V product this time. Now, I'm doing things a little bit differently again, as I always am trying to improve. I've got the quality turned right down on that camera because the file sizes were insane, like hundreds of gigs for a 10-minute video. Also using my lapel mic this time. Hopefully that makes it a little bit easier for me, and I've got a bit more lighting going on. But we have the MILC-V Mars. This is pretty much just came out. It was on pre-sale for a while. I pre-ordered one. I pre-ordered a 2 gig, ended up with a 4 gig, so I can't complain. And it turned up this week. So I thought I'll jump on it, have a look straight away with you guys. We can experience it together. And then any questions you have got, I can jump straight back over the next few days and try it out for you. Now I got this from Erase.tech. It's meant to be $96 US, but the 2 gig one is $62 US, but they sold out instantly. So I was really, really lucky to get one. And I've got to say their support is really good. I don't even know where they're from or what they do, but they've got an awesome little shop, so check it out. They're not sponsoring me though. I just think that they do a really good job. Now, I know talk fast. I'm trying to keep the videos short. I'm also always going fast myself. So I'm putting subtitles on all of my videos now. I'm automatically generating, but then checking them. So there's good subtitles if you want to slow it down, or hit the little thing down there or over there, I forget, and change it to 0.5 or 0.75 times. Now, my name's not Platima, but that's what I go by. Sounds Indian, but I'm not. I'm Australian if you can't tell. If you can't, this might make it easier to tell because it's, what's that say, 31 degrees here, and it's only the start of summer. This, though, is another RISC-V board, and it seems like I'm getting into quite a few of these. I'm actually really enjoying them. This one stood out, though. One, because MILC-V made a great product, the Duo, which is somewhere over there. I don't know. It's on my shop below, the Duo, that is. I don't have any stock of the MILC-V Mars to buy, but the Duo was great. It was really easy to use out of the box, which is what a lot of others struggle to do. Ah, there we go. That's some Duo components in there. So I'm excited about this because not only should it be as easy as the Duo, it should be more powerful than the Raspberry Pi. It's got the same processor that the Star 5 Vision 2 has. It's quite affordable in my opinion. It is more expensive than some of the others, but yeah, honestly, you get what you pay for with these. But it's got a lot of connectivity. So straight up, if we have a look at the specs, I've got them over here, and it's got some of it on the back of the board here. Let's see if we can make this focus. Oh, that was the wrong button. I don't even know what I've touched on my camera now. Probably stopped something from working, but you can see straight away 64-bit SoC. It's the RV64GC architecture, up to 1.5 gigahertz. Now, you probably want a heatsink on that if you're going to go that hot, but I'm not going to bother at this point. I'll see what it does raw out the box. That's quad-core as well. It takes eMMC, it takes SD/TF card. It also has a M2 slot, which is E-keyed, so that's PCIe 2X and USB from memory. That should allow storage, but it's meant for Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, which it doesn't include out of the box, but that's perfectly fine. I do have add-ons here. I might be able to bung one in and see what happens. Gigabit Ethernet is always good. PoE via a hat. It's pretty much the stock standard hat, so you can get a Raspberry Pi or a Waveshare one. It's got that 4-pin little PoE header on there. 3 USB 3.0 ports, 1 2.0 ports, does 4K HDMI output, which is awesome if you want to use this as a media center, especially when you combine that with maybe slapping a few SATA drives on that PCIe board with a breakout. It's got 2 MIPI DSI interfaces and the standard 40-pin GPIO interface, which I believe is the Pi 2 bus or whatever they call it. It also uses low-power DDR4, so that's bloody fast. RISC-V as always, as we love it. And it's got some other confusing specs, which is what I really want to try out eventually, but probably not in this video. All the advertising says it has MIPI DSI 2-lane and 4-lane, which is all well and good for your displays, but that also has MIPI CSI 2-lane and 4-lane. It says that on the web page, and I'm pretty certain I saw it somewhere on the box even, but maybe not. I want that because I've got the global shutter camera, I've got a 64 megapixel RG cam. I want to try these out. I want to use that 4-lane to get the maximum throughput. If it doesn't, so what? Basically, the product page says it has it, the documentation page says it doesn't, and it doesn't look like it's mentioned on here unless I'm just missing it again. Now, this video is sponsored. Hang on, let's see if I can make this focus again. This video is sponsored by PCBWay, and I just want to thank them. They've been really good to work with. I'm new to all of this. I'm only just becoming a YouTuber, I guess, even though I'm working for, I think, other jobs full-time, because YouTube is hard. And I don't want to do this full time either. This is for fun. But PCBWay have been great. So they do PCB prototyping for next to nothing. There's a link below if you want to use it and you get like $5 off your first order. It also helps me out. They do PCB assembly. They do flexible PCBs, rigid PCBs, multi-layer PCBs. I'll put some images up of all the stuff that they do. They'll do assembly, part ordering, CNC milling. This is off the top of my head. I'd love to show off some PCBs that I got from them. I've ordered with assembly because I never used their assembly before, that it hasn't arrived yet because I took my sweet time replying to them. So that's on me. They're fast, they're efficient, their communication is excellent, their pricing is fantastic. I'm going to start using them for everything. I even had an offer from another PCB mob this week offering me free stuff, and I said no. I legit said no. I'm happy to stick with that. They were good sports. They said let me know, let them know if I ever want anything. But I can't complain about PCBWay. And look at this. It's literally raining PCBs. These are PCBs for one of my other projects that I got. And if I can bring them in focus, the quality of these is phenomenal. So I didn't get any assembly. I just got the boards made, and these are a multi-layer board. It's a 4-layer board within a 1mm form, and it's just perfectly clean and excellent like that. Yeah, that's fantastic. So that was a long ad read. Jesus Christ. Thank you, PCBWay, for supporting me a bit. It's great, but thank you for just making good products and for supporting the industry. It goes a long way for YouTubers, but also for anyone that wants to learn PCB design and prototype. Oh yeah, they also do design. So if you want help with your designs, reach out to them. They have that as a service. Now, let's unbox this and have a look at it. I'm wondering if the PCB itself on this, that's a nice matte finish, the PCB itself on this is going to be a random color like it is with the Duo. So let's open this up. Trying to keep it in a bit of good condition. It comes in a plastic box. That is pretty sweet. In there, we have a whiteboard that has a static bag around it. And looks pretty sweet. Focus that one here. So as you can see, we have some RAM. We have the JH7110 processor, same as the Vision 5. We've got, what do we got here? So that's the M2 keying. VL805. I'm not sure off the top of my head what that is. Let me just Google that one tick. I'll leave this here for you to look at. VL805 is a so that's the USB 3 controller. That's pretty sweet. You've got your Pi 2 header here, 3.5mm jack, full-size HDMI, USB-C input, a reset button, TF card slot. There is your eMMC. So that's going to be really good because that's going to be faster and usually better storage with less wear than an SD card. So that's definitely a good option. I haven't paired one today though. You've got your 3 USB 3s and then you've got USB 2, your gigabit LAN. And as you can see, that's your PoE header there, which lines up with the rest of the pins that you need. So good form factor, credit card size like everything else, same as your Raxter rocks, your Pi 64 rocks, your Banana Pies, Orange Pies, your whatever, Raspberry Pies, of course, although they get enough credit as it is. And it looks like this is the version 1.2 board, so I don't know what 1.1 looked like, but I'm happy. It's also got this little mount here, which is probably going to be for a fan or a heatsink. And it looks like there you've got a little slot for a RTC battery, so it might be worth slapping an RTC battery on this if you've got one. So first up, I have focus. Got an SD card here, just a little Lexar. We will slap that in. So it's okay, LCD interface there, so it's going to be probably your DSi 2X. Oh, I'm no good at this focus and this backwards thing. I need to turn my camera around to face the other way. So that's for your LCD interface there, and then you have, what does it say? CSI and if I can find, and DSi. All right, so it only has one CSI interface, and then you got the two, DSi interfaces. All right, so that might be 4X. If you know how to tell whether it's a 4 or a 2 lane, let me know. It might be like a 15 versus a 22 pin connector. That one I can't tell, but I'm guessing that's going to be a 15. That's a future me problem. There's another little chip under there too. I'm not going to bother looking into that. So now SD card in there as usual. I am not going to bother showing you how to flash the SD card with Balena Etcher because I've done it a million times and you probably have too. If you want instructions, just ask below. I'll happily make them. Now, what we're going to look at is the software and the documentation, the images. I'll put links to that though, because you can look at it yourself. The software is Debian based, same as the Vision 5.2, which is excellent, and I love Debian myself. It's what I use for everything. The documentation is a bit lackluster now though. So the GUI documentation is really good. There's a lot to do. All this really shows you so far is how to flash it and get it booted, and then where the debug headers are, which is your ground TX, RX over here. So a bit lackluster, but theoretically you shouldn't need the documentation. So I've flashed this with their latest image, which is 1.0.5. That came out 14 hours ago. Looks like they just did some stuff for the compute module, which is a smaller version of this with no interface besides the header, fingers on it. And we're going to boot it up. Just before I do though, we're going to see what power it consumes. So without the SD card, I'll take that out. I have, oh, you can't quite see it. Yeah, there we go. There's a little power meter there. So if I can refocus, there we go. We can see what it's consuming. We'll go USB-C out and into the power of this. All right, there we go. So not doing much, takes half an amp. That's quite a lot. I'm guessing because there's no code running, the processor, the cores might be going full tit with no op or no weight. Half an amp's interesting. Now, these are also pre-flashed. So this SD card essentially just has the Linux distribution on it. You can flash it if you want to update the loaders like U-boot and OpenSBI, but out of the box it's meant to just work. Let's plug in HDMI, which I've got going over to my input card, and we'll just have a look at what's on the screen here. So full screen projector preview, power cycle it, and we'll just see if it does anything on the HDMI out. Oh, nice eMMC logo at a good resolution. That looks like a pure 1080, probably even pure 4K, but it's not doing anything. Kudos to them for making that look so damn good. So we'll pop the power again. We'll slap this SD card in, which I did actually verify this time because I don't want to record this multiple times. I want to go have lunch. And we will plug that back in. Little red LED, very dim LED. I quite like that. It's not going to be obnoxious if you're letting this run. And we'll see if it boots. Is that in all the way? Yeah. Not looking good, Mars. Let's have a look at the documentation again. I'm just going to go back to the web page and double check that I didn't miss anything. So getting started, boot the Mars, download the system image, flash with Balena, and connect it with Type-C, HDMI cable. When it boots up, the Mars screen and will show, and then the Debian desktop. Well, it's still just showing me the eMMC screen. Interesting. Could be the image. It could also be how I'm powering it. So I'm going to plug this USB-C straight into my Pine Power 120 watt, and we'll see if it does anything different here. It might be, still it looks like it's drawing about the same amount of power, 5.2 volts, 600, nearly 700 milliamps. Okay, it might be drawing a bit more now. I wouldn't have thought this would be a limiting factor because I think that can do 2 or 3 amps. But I'm still getting nothing more on the screen. Very interesting. All right, I'm gonna have a twiddle with this and come back to it shortly. So let's just be a little bit patient. On top of that, I just want to say, so this isn't a great first use experience, but also the link in the documentation doesn't work. You got to go to the GitHub repository and follow up from there to get the download. I'm going to double check that I flashed it with the right image, that the flash all went well, everything like that, and I'll come back to you in a tick. Hold, please. All right, what I've decided I'm going to do is actually have a look at the debug output. That might give us a bit more of an idea. There could be something going on behind that splash page, which is always a downside of, that graphical splash. It looks really good, but it can be a little bit limiting in what you see. Let's just let it do its thing one more time, see what happens. Boost from SPI, bad CRC, use the default environment. and the default environment looks like it's just trying to boot from eMMC 0, which I can only assume is going to be the eMMC on the other side. Whereas if there wasn't bad CRC on the SBI config, in the SPI flash, it would probably try to boot from the SD card. I think that the issue here is with how this is flashed out the factory, not with the image itself. So what I'm going to do now is grab, do I have any eMMC modules here? That's an interesting question. PCBs, where's my bloody storage thing? Flash memory. All right, what's in here? It says you need bigger than 16 gig, but I don't have bigger than 16 gig. The image wasn't 16 gig, so I'm going to grab this and my Pine 64 8 gig eMMC. I'm going to quickly flash the image to that to see if we can boot to that, and we'll go from there. Now, the only downside is with that corruption, that might mean that the hardware is not set up correctly. So I'll flash this, we'll give it another crack, and we'll see what happens. What I'm going to do, if this works, is I'll make another video about how I fixed it, because if mine's shipped like this and it's just that corruption in the SPI, then there's probably a lot that have shipped like that. And I really doubt that it's just me handling it that has caused that from maybe static sensitivity. I know I should be more static safe, but I'm treating it realistically like how I'd expect other people are treating it, not the right way. So yeah, if this works, I'll do another video on how to fix it, which is going to be interesting, given that it doesn't look like they've customized very much or put much documentation in. I'll do some digging, I'll ask the community a bit, but yeah, I'll make that video for you so you can see how to fix this. Otherwise, if yours works, also let me know. Like if you got one and it just works with the SD card out the box, I'd love to know, because that indicates that I'm doing something wrong or I broke something. Those happen all the time, so it's very likely, but who knows. This is just flashing now. I'm not going to bother verifying at the end this time. What I'll do is I'll pop this SD card out. I'll leave that aside because we know it's got theoretically a good image on it. So I'm going to pop this back out and slap it on the back. I'll plug my COM port back in so we can see what's happening. I'll take the power off this so I don't accidentally short something. And let's put this little SD card in. I mean, bloody eMMC module on. Now, I do note that the documentation says minimum, bloody hell. The documentation says minimum 16 gig. That's most likely because it's got a GUI, it's going to want to auto expand, do updates, that sort of stuff. There we go. So that is on there. Going to leave HDMI plugged in, why not? But we'll reconnect to that COM port, restart session, and we'll watch what happens this time, see if it's any different. Yeah, all right. So we can see it straight away there, and it's booting. Now, before it finishes booting, I'm going to pull that out, and I'll have a look at the power usage, or we'll have a look at the power usage there. Half amp, as expected. That's the auto boot. It is now booting. Still sitting around that half amp. That's pretty good. That's really good. I'm annoyed that it's corrupt, but these things happen. Like, these are sensitive electronics. So at times it's just, you know, you're going to get something that even in the box had some static issues. Now let's go back to OBS and you can actually see what we're getting on HDMI. Local block here is going to be expanding that file system. Whilst that's going, I'm going to grab my wireless keyboard and mouse and plug it in because we'll probably need that. There is also conflicting information in the documentation about the user. So some of it says it's user, some says user Mars. We'll find out shortly. Now, what was happening then? Gave up waiting for root file system compromise boot. All right, so this is probably where the file system was too small. We'll reboot it, see if it works. Otherwise, I don't think I've got any more storage modules with me. Maybe, but that's pushing it. Hopefully it's flagged that operation is complete, expanded as much as it could, and we can get on to actually trying it out. Interestingly, I used the USB or the SD card image for this. I don't know if there's a separate image for eMMC. After this, I'll reboot it again with the SD card in, see if it does anything else. Missing modules, root delay maybe not long enough. All right. So because it is the SD card image, let's try again. Very interesting. All right. So there's no eMMC image there, even though it supports eMMC. There's an SD card image, which I used successfully, but the SPI flash is corrupt, so it can't boot to SD card. So what's essentially happening here is it's booting up, it's going to SPIs on the SPI, or U-boot and OpenSPI are on the SPI flash, which you can see right there actually. However, it's corrupt and I have to fix that somehow. So it's using the default configuration, which is trying to boot from eMMC. I have an eMMC on there now, however, the image I used is configured to boot from USB. So it's getting the first bit, like essentially, I'm getting the kernel from eMMC, but then the kernel configuration and in /boot and whatnot is looking for the SD card. So I've got to have eMMC and SD card to make this work. My two options are either, like long term, I can fix the config that's on the SPI flash so I can boot to USB. I prefer eMMC though because it is faster. So I have two different images there, and there's a few options, few ideas ahead of me. Right now though, it's working. So let's get back to having a look at this. User Mars. It actually booted fairly quickly. It's using about 3/4 of an amp. All right, it's not user Mars like those release notes say in GitHub. What the hell is it then? User MIPI. All right, so if we go back to this, that was my bad. I don't think it said Mars anywhere. I just have the word Mars stuck in my head. Now this is feeling really quick, especially compared to the Mango Pi MQ Pro that I recently tested. So that seems like it's pretty much working. Let's go straight over to a terminal here if we can. Yep, all right. User MIPI sudo su. Does it even come with that? It does. Excellent. MIPI free -m. So I've got the 4 gig model there. It's only using up 400 mega RAM, which is awesome. df-h. Now this is what's going to be interesting. It's just using the USB. All right, so the SBI config is booting the kernel from the MMC. MMC is then loading everything from USB, which is looks like MMC block 1. Now, if we have a look at top, we can see it's got plenty of wiggle room as far as the processing capability goes. You know, -8, we have a 5.15 kernel, 5.15 kernel. Unfortunately, I love 6.10. I'm not going to consider this really a huge win until they ship it working with a 6.10 kernel, but this is still good. It is fast, which is awesome. Proc CPU info. So as we saw before, we've got 4 cores and it's an IMA FDC. So you've got 2 different lengths of floating point. You've got compressed operation. I can't even remember. You can figure it out. And you've got UART of Sci5 and U74MC. I don't know what the U74MC means. That is all well and good. Now, what I forgot to check, did it actually fill up the SD card? No, it's got a 300 meg root partition. All right, so it's probably, oh no, because normally like Ambient will have some boot scripts where it lets you pick your own username, it'll expand the SD card, everything like that. This hasn't done it, so you will need to do that yourself. It might be worth them adding that into the image. That would make a hell of a difference. If you did notice before as well, it also tried to boot from the network, which is a very handy fallback. You could have an array of these just TFTP booting. Now, let's have a look if it can actually do some good. What terminal were we on here? It is terminal 2. Wow, this video is up to 40 minutes. I was hoping to just work out the box and I wouldn't have to worry about anything. And I could make a nice short 15-minute video with no editing. That has not happened because it didn't work out the box, which is really not great for MIPI after how well they did before. The other thing I just want to quickly look at is if we go... What I wanted to do was have a look at that script for the boot, but I'm not going to be able to do that this time because we have hit, bloody hell, that is hot. We've hit the limitations of what this thing is able to do. So let's quickly recap. It is a very, very capable product. It is actually really powerful with a lot of connections. It doesn't necessarily have the up-to-date documentation that lists the correct CSI interfaces, unfortunately. It doesn't come with any thermal regulation. It'd be great if it just shipped with a little heatsink, like one of... Why can I never find anything? Even something like one of these in the box would be awesome. That'll make a hell of a difference. It's also shipped with a corrupt OpenSBI config on the SPI flash. I'm going to have to fix that. And they don't have an eMMC image, so I'm having to use 2 storage devices to actually get the bloody thing to boot. The pros are, it's affordable. It's not hugely affordable, it's affordable. It's not available, unfortunately. It's very powerful. It's got a great GPU, which I'd love to test when it's not 1,000,000 degrees sometime. Downside is, out of the box, it doesn't boot. They don't have all the images available, and the instructions seem a little bit lackluster. Now, this is using the JH7110 processor. As you can see there, that is the same processor as the Star5 Vision 5.2, which also has like dual gigabit LAN and whatnot. It might even try one out. It seems like a very, very good product. It's got a lot of USB. It's probably going to be really good as a NAS if you have a breakout on the M2 slot with some SATA ports, because you've got 2x PCIe there. Probably really good as a kiosk terminal, as a controller, like if you want to run Home Assistant. It'd be awesome if it had Wi-Fi built in. The fact that you've got the one eMMC, the one M2 and it doesn't have Wi-Fi built in is a little bit of a letdown, but you've got to give and take a little bit when you're designing these things. I'm well aware of that. The fact that it comes in compute module form is awesome for if you want to build like an array or a data center of these. That could be very fun and interesting. Someone sponsor me a bucket load of those. That would be fun and interesting. They need to fix up a few little things. They really, really do. It's close to being production ready. It could be because I just got it. They're not aware of these things. But yeah, release the eMMC image, fix the link on the website to the images, fix the SBI config that it comes with, add some more documentation, correct whether or not it has 4-lane, correct the docker where it says user/user for the username, because that's not true, and add in this. Other than that, I'm going to make this work because I think it's a very capable product, and I want to move my Home Assistant over to it, which is in the Docker container. Thanks again to PCBWay for making it rain PCBs for me and for sponsoring this video. You guys are awesome to work with. I'm going to have to go start editing this. Let me just have a look at my notes, see if there's anything I missed. If you have any questions, let me know. I'll do another video when I've fixed it and it's working as it should. I might even just do a blog post about the notes there. I'll include any images to download, like if I make my own eMMC image, which I don't actually think should be too hard. Until then, I hope you're enjoying the start of summer or winter or wherever the hell you are. If it's hot there like it is here, make sure you get some beers in you as long as you're over the legal age. Thanks again for coming along. Don't forget to like and subscribe, or double dislike, or leave a comment, or unsubscribe. Any interaction is good as far as the algorithm is concerned, as far as I can tell. Take it easy.